Discussed in that. Welcome to the PARAcast. I'm your host, Tomas the Boss Hernandez, joining you in front of a pile of like 26 blankets. There's like 80 blankets here. We're lousy with blankets. If you're cold, don't come here because we don't help the homeless, but I would advise you to get blankets. Maybe one day we'll sell them on the cheap. Joining me tonight, the buffet said you can only... The buffet said you can only... Joining me tonight, the buffet said you can't share a plate with your family. He said they're just here to watch me eat. It's Kevin Isaac.
Look, I take care of them in other ways. All right.
They're gonna share
deep pockets.
They're gonna share a large fry on the way home, but only from the app and only if it's free. Also, how was he supposed to know that the toilets at Home Depot aren't hooked up? A brand new Lowe's customer. It's Robert Wyatt.
I mean, there's an upper decker, and then there's the please don't come in our store again.
Yeah, pretty much. Mike was at Home Depot, and he was like turning all the faucets to the open position and looking at things like these should all be turned on. And I was like, nope, because of people like you. That's why they're not. That's why they're not.
We went into a house. This was well over a decade ago. The thing was almost done. I think they were within a week of getting like the C of O. But the water hadn't been turned on or anything like that. And we walk in the bathroom like, what the heck is that smell? Open up the toilet. Yeah, sure enough, one of the workers had taken a big old dump in the toilet. And you're like, oh, you suck.
You know, when you spend an afternoon walking model homes. So you go to like the model home place and they're like, we have 4 models. And you're trying to figure out like exactly which model you want. And so you're like the pros and cons of X, Y, and Z. Like during that 2 hours, like someone's got to go. And there's not like a porta potty they have outside. They have these things. And like you turn on the sink, like the sink runs. Like they're going to sell this place. In like a couple years, once they're done with all the faces, they're going to sell this model. And you flush the toilet and the toilet flushes. Is there toilet paper? No. But like... there's still stuff there, you know? And so I think morally, I'm going to come at this from a moral angle. I don't think you should be allowed to drink bottles of water in front of the thirsty on a desert road. Right? There's something about that. And nor should you not have that. That's like having Taco Bell lock the bathrooms. You can't do that kind of stuff to people. Anyways.
Yeah.
I got some soft jaws for my vise. I'm going to put it front side on a Beretta. I'm going to start loading. I got my inertia hammer. We're all ready to mess up rounds 9mm at my house. But I found something interesting this week. Have you guys looked at the new Zermat Arms Waltz 9?
I did.
Yes. So here.
No.
Okay. So here we have this gun company. This is going to remind you of something, but it's going to remind you of a better executed version of a gun. So we have a steel frame 2011 kind of style with an aluminum grip. It takes Glock magazines. Tolerance seemed pretty tight on it, so some Glock magazines may not work or may work. And it seems to me that the Metgar magazines have a chronic over-insertion problem. So, anyways, striker fired. This is gonna tingle Robert's heart because he bought a pistol like this a while ago. Striker fired 1911 style trigger, about 2 ounces or whatever. 43 ounces, comes with either a compensator or a sight block, and steel frame.
It's the Hudson.
Yeah, it looks like a better done Hudson. Like if Hudson wasn't, it's a Hudson type. You're taking a pistol. Like the Hudson was more like of a carry Glock 19, Glock 17 size.
Right.
This is like a full send. It very much reminds me of the steel frame Walther PDP, kind of mixed with like a DWX. Like if those two kind of got together and takes Glock mags, it's kind of this kind of weird system. So, but yeah, like I saw it and I was like instantly thought about the Hudson and like the Hudson. I think more people bought the Hudson when it was the Hudson than when Daniel Defense made it functional and working, and it's now the H9. But this thing seems to be a pretty interesting setup. I was watching some videos on it.
What's it priced at? Because the Hudson
I
was what, $8.99 or something like that. It
yeah,
was
this is
it was reasonable-ish.
no, this is for gamers. This is for people who have to
Like
spend
twin stick
2,300.
gamers, or
Yeah, these are GAYMERs. S. This is for the people who are probably going to want to spend $1,800 to $1,900 on a pistol.
Man, I don't know. I haven't seen anybody list any pricing. Like all the reviews I've watched, I've had a couple people mention that they think it's going to be like Athena money.
oh geez,
I'm thinking that
nobody's going to spend that much money on. I mean,
are they?
I've seen people spend money, but
people are buying the Alien, right?
people
I mean,
who
not
are
a lot,
dumb.
maybe, but people are buying the Alien, so it's not impossible, right? Like I just don't know what I guess I don't know what the cost to manufacture something that actually is, right?
Well, if you look at what they're saying, that there's no hand fitted parts on there, so it's all CNC machined. So like that, you talk about, if you're going to talk about parts not being hand fitted, then you got to come down on the price tag, because that's the whole
Yeah, like
staccato
HD money.
Athena. Like that's where I'm guessing that we're going to be seeing mid 2000s, high teens to mid $2,000 for that. Like that's where I'd kind of see it. Like I could see them pushing for like $3,000 on the thing, but
Is this a real company? Because I've never heard of these guys, and that's not saying much. But I mean, is it a real
guess they were
company
in,
that
like,
can
the
actually ramp
precision
up?
rifle space?
DS or DG or DC or something precision.
Okay, fine, but can they actually pump out 25, 30,000 products a year kind of numbers, or is this very boutiquey Athena styled? Get on a waiting list.
It very much seems like a competent machine shop. That this is why it reminds me of the Hudson. Except for these guys seem to know more about what they should put on a firearm and not make an M&P rear sight dovetail for the front sight sort of thing. So these guys seem like they have their kind of act together, and they're producing a pistol from the ground up and trying to keep all the hand fitting out of it, and it looks competently done. I'll say that. And Kevin doesn't even have to do guide rod research. He uses a Beretta 92 guide rod system.
92.
Yeah.
But, if it's popular, I might have to buy one. Just to,
yeah, he's just gonna have to. He's just gonna have to. So I think this is going to be kind of interesting to see what people do, and if the money moves in that division for limited optics. Like technically, Kevin, there's nothing in there that would make it not carry optics legal. 43-ounce steel pistol, striker fire, not single action.
Yeah, I guess they still have to meet the volume, right?
Yeah, they would still
Volume
have
number.
They would have to. I don't think there's anything in the carry optics rulebook that would prevent a island barrel or
Does it
something
have
like
a magwell?
It has, I think, a removable magwell.
A removable one, so
Yep.
you could pop it out.
Okay.
Like
different grip panels. So it almost has like a 2011 kind of. It seems like it has a 2011 lower frame, but then the grip panels, you can buy different types of grip panels to put on.
It looks. I'm trying to think of what it looks like, right? So the upper looks very Glockish to me. Just the shape, it's very blocky. The grip actually reminds me of another gun that tried to come out. I'm trying to think of who was making it. It's like kind of a modular frame with the aluminum grip that's very blended with it.
The side profile looks very CZ Shadow too, as far as like the back hump and the way it's kind of set up. But it's
fatter.
It's much fatter.
Fat.
Yeah. The profile CZ75, but it's definitely much more.
But it uses like
fat.
I don't know if it's innovative or different locking link or whatever, right? It's like a separate part that locks up the barrel and uses. It looks like it uses like a roller on it to set the barrel in place.
Oh,
so
yeah. Dave Blanton
rollers
was talking about that.
Yeah, they can use different rollers to like set the tolerance, different size ones. That's actually kind of an interesting idea, really.
Yeah.
Very cost-effective way to do that.
Mass manufacturing and
know.
having different parts to set the tolerances is not exactly what I would think as.
Well, fundamentally, that's what Hudson ran into. right? I mean, they were able to successfully build a one-off, and it was the transition from the prototype to mass market manufacturing when everything fell apart. And it's not to say that they could have survived, but they made the bad decision of announcing an aluminum frame, and then everybody just stopped buying them because, oh, we'll just wait for the lighter version of it. And if this company, Zermat or whomever, if they can build a prototype, even if it's a good prototype using other things, it's always that transition between that and the mass market where honestly you're going to see a lot of it just die back. And if the pricing isn't good, that makes it harder. But I mean, we've God, that's the hard thing at this point, right? I mean, like we always talk about like, oh, this thing costs $3,000, and yet people are still plunking down the money for it. So I mean, we can't afford housing or beef, but damn it, we're going to get the latest and greatest pistol.
Yeah, the guns are as cheap as they're ever gonna get. There's a couple things. So like, Joel Park had a video where they're sending out different weight guide rods. I mean, recoil springs or what, and then like we have this kind of thing of like this locking piece in there, and um, I like having the ability to tune your gun to whatever you feel like you need. Manufacturers sending out different weights of things and different things to increase tolerances or decrease tolerance. Like, I don't think that ever works well because that's why no one does it. And so like, and the other part too is like having really tight tolerance on some of these pistols. It can be good, but it's good in a hand fitted, like someone looked over this kind of way. And mass producing pistols to do that can start being an issue. It has a kind of like the Daniel Defense Hudson, the H9 Daniel Defense H9. It has that trigger safety, so that drop safety or whatever prevents the fire. So it goes out there. Seems to have an incredibly short reset, and it has an incredibly light and short trigger pull, like 2 pounds factory trigger pull, and we're probably
Wow.
talking like a 2 millimeter break and reset, like within that window. Like it's extremely sporty, and then might have like a sear safety. So we're definitely talking about a pre-cocked striker if we're talking about having a sear safety. But this just goes in that they did not want to put a firing pin block in the gun because heaven forbid we have a trigger bar move a firing pin block out of the way. They do claim it's drop safe. That's what the videos are saying where everyone's talking about that it's drop safe.
Well, my
So sick.
CZ is drop safe until you start mucking with it.
Yeah, like lots of things can be drop safe, but the one thing that lots of USPSA shooters are always willing to sacrifice safety on the behalf of gaining a little bit on a perceived split, or because they can't shoot things at 20 yards. So I don't know if this is innovation. Like it seems like competitive shooting innovation or like all the feature sets that people want. But
Yeah, but that's the problem. If they're spending all the R&D to build this gun or the competitive market, then basically they're not going to be here next year at SHOT Show because the competitive market is the tiniest thing in the entire world. And if their gun is like this is the next great competitive thing, it's yeah. What'll happen is this gun will come out, it'll get released, and you'll get the usual shills that'll show up. So Frank will show up with the newest uh, Zermat Arms Waltz blood whatever gun, and it'll be the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then some other, and then you'll see nationals, and they'll be like the Zermat Arms team that's there, and they'll all get their asses waxed by Nils with his shitty ass Canic gun.
Hey, what do you
And
call
nobody.
Andy?
listen,
I
only
like the Canic.
only sometimes you
I
get
just think
lemons.
it's funny when Canic beats the snot out of everybody else. I think that's funny.
It's a value-packed proposition, mass-produced, and you know what Kevin, tell the people about the tolerances on the Canic.
It's a rattle can.
It's slobby. But it works.
It works and it's accurate. Like we don't need the finest piece of machinery out
Hey,
there.
listen, sometimes you don't care if it's loose. You just want to fire.
Yeah, you just want to shoot. But like it's
Are we not doing phrasing anymore?
No, we're not. We're just outright saying it. Like it's a fantastic. The Canic's a fantastic product for the price point of like that's the Canic Rival S and even the Rival Polymer. Those are specifically manufactured for competition, and they do a great job at that. Is the optic system fantastic? No, no.
Hey, I haven't broke the optic system on any of mine, so I think I had to replace a helicoil in one of them once.
Yep.
Because I swapped optics like 5 times in it. So
yeah. I mean, I
it's
literally
not
like
because it broke; it's because the optic broke 5 times. I had to swap out.
a,
Right.
di-
So
a direct
is that a fault of the optic plate?
a direct milled Rival S would be fantastic. Like put an EPS on the top of a Rival S and go to town. It'd be great. Anyways,
That's the level of competition in the market, though, right? Like, I mean, this Waltz 9, right? Like, if it comes in at Athena money, it's dead. I think, right? Like, it just unless they've got very deep pockets to just spin this out over the next 10 years and build, some kind of cult following or something. But if it comes out at like staccato HD pricing, okay, there'll probably be some people that'll pick it up. It's not crazy. It's probably a little nicer than the staccato from a fit and finish perspective, at least what I'm seeing. So there's some possibility there. It all comes down to the price, though, and I guess availability, right? Like how many are they going to make?
and does it work? Does it work?
Oh,
Because there's another great option that we all thought was going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread and would take over an entire market. It was the DWX, and like, did that outperform or outsell staccatos or Athenas or anything? Like, you're most likely going to see.
Hey, this Waltz is optics ready from the start, so.
Yeah, I mean
How's that going for it?
the DWX had that, and now it's optics ready, but like
the DWX is also 6 years old, I think.
It's essentially 6 years old and took 3 of those years to get off the ground.
Yeah.
And
and I blame COVID for that. I mean, I'll actually give them a little bit of a pass because I will blame COVID and Dan Wesson and Colt and CZ doing all that sort of thing. So I give them a little bit of grace. I don't give them any grace for that crappy coating they put on their guns, though, because that apparently is a hot garbage.
But it's at that price range. That is that upper end kind of $1,800 price range. It works. They're accurate. They come optics ready, and yet the market doesn't seem to the competition market does not seem to be swallowing that thing up. Because the only people who buy these type of guns are, one, competition shooters and old people who think that they're going to make them help shoot better. So I just we'll see what it does. Yeah. It's going to be hard to kind of dethrone the 2011 market on something that new.
I don't think you'll ever see the 2011 market go away. I just don't. I mean, it's basically going through a resurgence. Staccato is building some excellent firearms. I think a DWX is a fine firearm. I like it quite a lot. I think it was a really great concept in the way that you have the 1911 trigger system with the reliability, the general reliability of a lot of the CZ top end and parts. I think that's fantastic. There's problems with it. If I was to get into, I mean, if I'm really honest about it, if I was to get into a 2011, I would look at the DWX really, really hard because it's the parts compatibility and similarity to the CZ and the way that I've lived my life with CZ. It's hard not to just.
Well, I mean,
it's hard not to pay attention to it.
Perspective, right? Like you just swap between the Shadow and not have that difference.
Yeah, and I like the grip on the Shadow, and so I've always preferred that. So
well, I mean, the pistol market is, I would say, very competitive right now, right? Like, just think of all the great options that are out there from, the low end Rival. Well, I mean, heck, if you even go lower than that, right? Like some of these, like a CZB10 right now could be had for
$300,
$400,
right?
Yeah,
and
that's a great firearm.
A gun that's probably selling gangbusters outside of the sport is the, Staccato HD, right? Like, so we're in a space in the market where, you've got to be doing something truly innovative or very well established companies, or something that just hasn't been in the market before to really capture any market share, right?
And you have to hit a price.
Yep.
You can't be new and hyper expensive and unproven. Like you have to hit a price. Like,
well, that's where I think something like the Zermat is not different enough. like mechanically from all the other guns to people. You're not getting some exceptional benefit from this new locking block thing that you're like, oh, the recoil's better, like the Alien or whatever, right? Or different.
It's like shooting a 22.
Yeah, it's not some ethereal thing people want to chase, right? With
Yep.
like the Alien, and so the pricing has to be appropriate.
And if I'm sitting there and I'm looking at buying a pistol like this, if I'm going to go shoot limited optics, and I have like, well, what do I want? Well, like I want an island barrel, I want optics ready, I want a nice light trigger, I want to take Glock mags. Should I get the Zermat or should I get the HD 4.5?
Well,
So,
the other way
like,
of looking at it is, should I get the prototype or should I get the industry proven success?
Absolutely. Should I get the one that I can just send back and they'll fix every part and do everything for free, and it's basically a lifetime purchase, and that it's had all the bugs worked out? And
Well, from a company that you know is going to be around, right? Like all
Yeah.
those guys that
in
bought the
one name or
Hudsons and tried to
another,
get 'em fixed.
in one
That's
name or
exactly
another,
it,
it's still
Kevin.
going to be around.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally bought my Hudson because the company was going out of business, and I was like, I want this piece. I want this as a piece of history.
It's a collection item, not a used
It-
item.
That's exactly what it was, and I looked at it from that perspective, and I'm very, very happy I own it. I've shot it a couple times. It's not the greatest shooting gun in the world, but it represented a point in history that I thought somebody was coming out with something cool.
Yeah.
That's it.
I would love a Daniel Defense H9. Like I just sit there and look at that and I'm like, okay, well, that's a Glock 19 sized, kind of different design that's optics ready and seems to be well enough produced. It's, yeah, they're going to have to, essentially, they're coming for the HD 4.5 series, and Staccato will bring out a comped kind of almost XE version of that 4.5, and so they got to beat them on reliability and price point, because why, and customer service, and because like why would I spend that money on this new thing when I can just go get this, and I know I'm going to be like, no matter what happens, I'm problem free.
Speaking of Staccato, I think haven't they leaked some stuff recently, or not leaked, released some kind of what looks to be a 4.5 comped, I think, marketing materials. I think I've seen recently.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Last year was their big year to release it, and so now they're gonna move on. It's
new version.
Yep, new
Shot show,
version.
maybe?
Gen 6 Glocks are hitting the street, so that's good for the guide rod world. Like Kevin's probably the happiest guy on earth. What is that? A single piece
Other
guide
than,
rod
I
for
gotta
this
go
bad
buy
boy?
another one.
Yeah.
Anybody want a Glock 19 Gen 5?
I've got one.
Or sorry, Glock 17 Gen 5?
Oh, I already have one of those. But when you tire of your Gen 6, get it in the G45. So when you're tired of it, I can pick it up on the cheap. Just get the Gen 6 G45 would be fantastic. So anyway, Robert.
Actually, I don't mind buying it, testing it. That's the thing. I don't want to shoot a Glock.
Oh yeah, you poor
I
thing.
can.
You poor thing.
Well, no, it's just it's a preference thing, right? Like I don't know. I just every time I shoot one, I'm like,
The Glock is the Glock just works, and there's a certain reliability that's great, but there's nothing about it that's just like, oh, this is just sexy and cool. It
I
just
feel
doesn't
the same thing
move the
about
needle for
Infinities.
me.
Like when I've shot the Infinities, I'm like,
Yeah, well, that's
it's
the
good,
same.
but I don't feel like I'm like compelled to go buy one, right? So
Right. I mean,
These
I
are
know people
great.
do, and I know they're great guns.
These are great.
They're
I
fantastic
agree.
guns.
It's a personal preferencing is all, right?
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
They're light. They got enough for you to hold on to. The triggers can be halfway decent. They're accurate. They fix the optic system.
It's the reason I haven't gotten rid of it yet. I'm like, nobody's gonna be mad if I have a Glock someday, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's just
And if you
it'll
don't mess
work
if
and-
you don't mess with them, they run. If you don't try to
See,
turn
but
them into an open gun, they're fantastic.
That's how I feel about the M&P now. I mean, I pick up an M&P, and like, to me, an M&P, I'm like, oh, this objectively kind of like ticks all the boxes for a striker fired gun that I would want.
Yeah.
And I quite like the M&P. And honestly, and I'm not blaming Steve, but were it not for Steve shooting Glocks, I probably would have looked at an M&P earlier. But Steve was kind of like the hot stuff, and Glock was the big thing on the market, and that's what everybody was shooting. And I remember at the time the M&Ps weren't as great. The 1.0s struggled a bit shooting 115s. And so it was easy to be with a Glock. And I never went back. But when I finally actually really started shooting the M&P more and more, I was like, yeah, I actually like this gun. Yeah, this gun actually returns. I'm very accurate with this gun. This gun does all the things I need it to. And I'm like, cool.
Yep.
Well, I'm already into CZ now. So, I mean, I'm stuck. Not stuck, but
you could sell them. or keep them.
Yeah.
And still buy some MPs.
Yeah, and I like the M&P. I think it's a fantastic striker fired gun, but I think there's a lot of great striker fired
Yeah,
guns.
there's ones that don't
For
even
sure.
see the light of day that are Beretta APX does not APX A1 does not see the light of day.
Yeah, but that's a fantastic firearm.
That's the sidearm of the Italian military. Like it's a chassis system that doesn't have any accuracy or safety issues.
Yeah,
And that's optics ready
unlike SIG.
and has a decent trigger and has $18 21 round magazines. Like I don't know. Can't
Well, if you're SIG and you can grease the right palms, I guess you can get any of your crappy firearms into the military contract.
A Beretta APX cannot leave the gun shelf for a suicide. That's how hard it is for them to move it. Like it's people are moving
Beretta.
on.
I mean, outside of the 92, Beretta's never had a lot of success moving pistols.
Military contracts, they have good success in military contracts as far as getting anything else in anybody else's hands. Like no, they're not. People look
But
at
that's
that
the funny
stuff and
thing
just
is
go,
when
what's this?
But when you actually go shoot it, you're like, oh, this is actually a really good gun.
Yeah, PX4.
I mean, the PX4, when you actually go shoot a PX4, you're like, yeah, this is a really fine firearm. It's one of the best guns that nobody admits to owning.
Yeah, they're great. They're super soft recoiling.
Yeah.
They're excellent. They're reliable. They're an excellent firearm. But like the other thing with the bunch of that stuff, like the PX4, it's just like there's no reason on earth you guys cannot make an optics ready version of this gun.
Mm-hmm.
But if they did that, they might sell some, and they're scared. They're scared of success. They're self-sabotaging. Anyways, Robert.
Oh man, so this week, I went and I bought. I mean, forever ago, I went and bought that Omega 9K from Silencer Shop, and then I remember I talked about it on the show, but Armory kind of went out of business. The FFL went out of business, and so I get this email letter from Silencer Shop saying, "Hey, well, this company's going out of business, so you can't actually use them." Well, because of everything that's happening with the NFA going away and on January 1 and stuff like that, it took forever just to get them to even respond and tell me that I had to find a new FFL. And I'm like, okay, fine. So eventually I sent it to Blake.
Yep.
And I'm like, cool. It's all now. Now it's gonna go through. It's gonna get submitted. I'm gonna get the suppressor back before Christmas. Well, a couple days ago, I get this email from them like, "Hey, you have an unused tax stamp on record, and we're just going to give you a gift card instead." And I'm like, "What the fuck?"
So no suppressor.
So I'll get my suppressor, but I'll get it, after January 1st with all the other people. I did all that work to get it to go in advance, and then Silencer Shop didn't even apply it, and instead instead of giving my money back, which is what you think you should do, they're like, "Oh no, have a gift card. Here, you can spend an extra chunk of money with us."
Yeah.
Who's already kind of made it hard. And so
please spend.
I don't know.
Please, here's a gift card for your return. Please spend your money with us after we have no sales.
Yeah.
Because now we're incentivized to literally sell you a suppressor at a decent price because nobody's buying them. But as of January 1st, here's a gift card for full retail. God bless. Have fun.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of which, if you do want to get rid of that, Robert, I might buy it from you.
Gift card?
Yeah.
He's offering $125.
What I show here.
Oh.
I've got a stack of these. These were my Christmas gifts from family. I gave them a short list of things I wanted. I'm like, here, get me a gift card to Silencer Shop. And
there you go.
I'm obliged. So, but I think I'm still a little short of what I want. So.
Oh, maybe we'll talk about. I'm going to see if I get the money back, but I mean, one way or the other, yeah. But it was. I mean, it's fine. Like at the end of the day, I don't care that much. It's just I went through the effort to try and get it here before the rush, because that come January 1st, you're probably going to wait 9 months before you even see the suppressor. But it is what it is. I'm not hurting for it because I have other suppressors. It was just kind of on principle. I'm like, man, I just like to have that. And so I don't know.
No, it's great to wait 6 or 7 months for something and then they keep your money and then they just turn it into a gift card. No, I love that kind of stuff. When I have those kind of experiences, I'm just like, I spent 2 hours and an hour this morning on a reverse osmosis system that has a crack in it. That literally
Oh,
says on the box, "Do
nice.
not return to Home Depot." But that's where we're taking it. We're taking it back to Home Depot.
We'll take care of you. Just call us.
Just
Yeah.
call us. Well, hey, all you got to do is
We'll
call
get
the
you parts
manufacturer.
in 8 to 10 weeks.
8 to 10 weeks, and you pay for the call tag. And you know what? We'll probably try to set you straight. No, I'm dumping it off at Home Depot. You can give me my $300 back. Keep this
We'll
thing.
send you a shipping label. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just drop it off at UPS.
Yeah, no. I love wasting endless amounts of times for nothing that turns out in return and losing money. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, customer service, nuts to that. We don't do that anymore.
Nobody does.
It's all
Except
it's all
for
consumer equality.
Kevin
It's
Isaac.
terrible.
Anything new, Kevin?
Not much. I can't remember what I talked about. So I am switching, kind of time back to what Robert's saying, switching to shooting M&P next season for Carry Optics. So I've got the aluminum frame competitor set up, and I've shot it a little bit. It's interesting, right? Like going from a heavy gun to a light. I mean, not that it's crazy light, right? With the aluminum.
No,
pretty
it's
light.
not. It's as light as a polymer version of that gun would be.
And
yes,
drawing that and shooting it, it feels really good. It transitions so nice. But the M&P returns really well, right? Like it doesn't have that kind of chunk like the PDP does.
Mm-hmm.
And so it feels really nice. And I mean, so I'm pretty excited to shoot that. I've got full competition belt for it, and then I also got a carry concealment belt set up so if I want to go do a match and belt, I can do that.
Can I convince you into spending the $400 and just buying a polymer one?
So I've actually looked. The only thing holding me back is if they come out with a steel frame version. I think that will be fairly popular in this sport. Again, given pending pricing, and so I want to test guide rod with that to see.
This is my thoughts on the Smith & Wesson M&P, manufactured, of course, by Smith & Wesson. And Smith & Wesson and what would you call quality? They're not synonymous names, and tolerances. They're not.
Smith & Wesson and quality are not even in the same factory.
There's a few pistols that have not had many problems for Smith & Wesson. And as far as and that was the Sigma. A Sigma always works. It always works. It's a $250 thing. It always works. And then the M&P series, basically after the Shield, pretty much worked. And that's because the looser tolerances that we talked about with the Canic are a net benefit to such a pistol. And the M&P 2.0, it's not the most accurate pistol. I mean, it's definitely on the lower end compared to its peers like the Walther and the Glock and all that stuff like that. Just when Smith & Wesson has to make things out of metal, like frames and stuff, they tend to have a bit harder of a time. And their concepts of what should actually be put into a metal pistol, they've lost that idea since the third generation Smiths. So I would say I would not shoot an aluminum framed M&P. I would not shoot a steel framed M&P, but a polymer framed M&P will run all the livelong day and still be decent. It'll be a bitch to reload, but it's a good pistol. And that's
what I started USPSA with. I started with a Smith & Wesson M&P 1 in 40 and shot that in limited for a couple years, I think. And I loved the grip, right?
Yeah.
So I like the gun. And here's the thing. It's like what you're talking about is that a polymer frame 5-inch M&P 2.0 it's like $400, right? So
yeah.
I'll probably end up with one, right?
The greatest tell of the aluminum frame Smith & Wesson M&P is that they were so afraid to do any more machining, they put the plastic front and back straps on it. That's the tell. That's
sloppily fitting ones.
You know what other companies do? They checker it. They just checker. They put some grooves on it. They checker it, and they were just like, I don't know if we can do this consistently, Bob. What should we do?
Yeah.
It feels.
So I slapped some grip tape over it, anyways, because there's not enough grip on the gun.
No, I think the aluminum frame Smith & Wesson M&P is a walking abortion of a firearm. Like it is It is.
It actually looks pretty good. I think it looks okay. So far, it shoots pretty well too. So we'll see. I mean, I haven't. I've got
I
maybe
don't.
1,000 rounds.
I just. I have a Delta Point milled 4.25-inch slide, and I have some magazines with some base plates, or at least I think I do somewhere. Do you still have my M&P stuff, Robert? Okay, Robert has it. Whatever. You can get some base pads and some magazines.
they're actually sitting on a little shelf, and I walk in, I look at them like those are Tommy's.
It is a mostly good firearm. It's a mostly good firearm from the slide up. I will say that. Mark
And
my
onto
words.
my other venture. I finally got back from SIG my replacement Romeo 3 Max Pro. So I have that.
This is like
So
a
I have-
year-long adventure.
No. It's even further than that, right? So I contacted them because my Romeo 3 Max, the glass started separating, right? And I thought, oh, it's still keeping 0 and stuff, but I'll email it. This is after they changed to have a lifetime warranty. I contacted them like, yeah, sure, no problem. We'll send you a new one. And then this was right as the Romeo 3 Max Pro was coming out. I'm like, hey, could I? They said, oh, you can get a new one or you can get store credit. I'm like, hey, could I get this new optic that's coming out? They're like, yeah. And then like 2 weeks later, the guy comes like, it's actually more expensive. You have to pay $50. I'm like, do it. So I got that optic. I shot it. I think I shot it in 2 matches before it broke, maybe 3. And so I contacted them and they're like, yeah, it's discontinued for redesign or something. We're gonna send you, but just don't feel too bad. We'll send you a Romeo 1 Pro. I don't know what I think.
It's obvious why it was discontinued now.
Yeah,
Because they wanted
well,
his name off of the damn thing. It's like this guy's
well, so
quitting the team.
They send me a Romeo. Actually, so they're supposed to send me 1 Romeo 1 Pro. They sent me 2. I don't know why. So I have 2 new Romeo 1 Pros if somebody wants one sitting in my closet. Now I have the new Romeo Max 3 Pro replacement. I looked at the battery tabs because that's the issue that mine had was the battery tabs were crappy. It doesn't look like they've changed them, so I'm not feeling very confident that the new one's going to be better. So we'll see. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. Other than that, I haven't been shooting. Haven't been touching guns. Just been enjoying the off season. Actually, I was jonesing a little bit. If I didn't have so much stuff going on, I was going to sign up for the belt series down at the Armory, but I got too much stuff going on that day and hockey tournaments that are months, and so maybe one I'll try and hit, but shooting's for the summertime, I guess, for me.
It's weird, dude. I haven't shot at all in December, and man, you get away from it, and it is very easy to let the rest of life start taking over, and you're like, man, I can get a lot of crap done around the house when I'm not spending weekends shooting.
See, I'm in a very different spot. I'm like, I really need this off season to reset because I push hard during season, right? Like practice wise,
Right.
But I doubt there's a day that goes by that I'm not thinking about shooting, right? Like my mind is in it, and so I'm jonesing for the season to start, but I don't want to start too soon, right? Like,
Yeah. For me, I just now that I have the press set up there and I've resurfaced like the bench in the garage and I have everything set up and like plugged in and like I just like the fact that I could do things if I wanted to. That's
Right.
that's
You
the because
could. I
before
could.
when I wanted to I couldn't do things and then when I didn't
Mhm.
want to it didn't really affect me. But now I walk by, I get out of the garage, I look to the left, there's the 650 and everything set up. There's a bucket of 1,000 bullets sitting next to this clean brass and I go, not feeling it today. And then I just walk in because I have stuff
You
to
want
do.
what you can't have.
And what I have, I don't want. So that's
Yep.
how it works. So, but I
Well,
I am happy about it. Like I'm one of these days I'm gonna come home and just sit down there like we all do. Like it's just like you don't have any plans for it and you're supposed to do other things and you're like, you know what's a good time to make 2,000 bolts tonight. Let's do that.
yeah. Well, this week I actually ended up went to Lowe's and picked up a bunch of 2x, built 10 more stands for the Armory matches, and I got to go back again, and we're gonna try and build 10 more walls. We're actually gonna start building them out of 2x material instead of the PVC piping, and hopefully
Hopefully they'll hold up a little better.
I think they will. Zach sent me some how to build diagrams. And I had a couple ideas on it, like actually screwing built the frame and then screwing another 2x on the end of the frame, so that that essentially becomes the sacrificial anode of what gets shot. We'll still use the coroplast and stuff like that, but as far as goes, I mean, the cost of PVC has gone through the roof, and you can build a
Well,
couple
and you shoot
stand.
the plastic once and
It's gone.
exploded, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Done.
and so
As we
it's
learned at the cop match, wood lasts forever. You can have no shoots stapled on the end of those things, and they'll get shot up, and they'll still be kicking.
Mhm.
It'll be fantastic.
Oh yeah, but it should be good. It should be fun.
Yeah, we just need steel walls, steel target stands, just to teach people not to shoot deltas.
Some AR-500, get some frag going on.
Golly, Sups, years ago, they actually had their walls were made out of metal.
They still have
And
some of them, don't they?
I think they still have some of them,
Yeah.
but some of that
I
stuff, man,
shot
you
one.
yeah, oh yeah, you shoot it, and I mean, if the bullet didn't come back, it would create enough of a jagged edges and stuff like that. You'd walk past it, you'd cut yourself, kind of just dragging past those walls.
Yep. No,
I mean,
my fondest memories of Barry Steel Challenge was people who bought factory ammunition. Because then you'd just be walking through the base, just catching frag as you walk through. And it's just like, would you guys please be cheap for the love of everything holy?
Buy
Would you
something
please stop
plated,
like
would
us?
you?
We make
Plated
coded.
at the highest level.
Yeah, it's just like, what is that? Like bonded? Like I'm getting the whole bullet back at me. So, anyways. Sponsors. We have some sponsors for the show. Dominate Defense, best competition belt. And if you want concealment or any sort of tactical equipment, check out American Operator Gear. Use promo code PARA10. Get the best equipment at both. PARA10. Save 10% off your order. American Operator Gear and Dominate Defense. Check them out. Rune Tactical. Gun parts, but most likely plus ones for your magazines. Most magazines available. This new Zermat arms, you can put a plus one in the Glock magazine and then just stick it in there, and then boom, that thing's going to work. Canic, get plus ones in your Canic, because Kevin's going to figure out that he's going to miss his Canic when he starts hanging out with his new girlfriend, the
I
M&P
still
aluminum.
kept my Canics. I'm not getting rid of them. I still like them. I sold one of my PDPs, so
Every time I see a dark side for like $6.99, I'm like, it takes my bread of base plates. I have an optic. I could do this. It comes with the holster, and if you just do a couple things with the holster's not that bad, and Rune Tactical can make it even better. Use promo code PARA10, 10% off of that place. And then also, W74 guide rods. Kevin, give us the commercial.
get some tungsten batteries. If you need some extra weight to tame that 9mm recoil, or some guide rods for basically everything out there that you want to shoot, except for maybe a Zermat. We don't know yet. It might work.
Yet.
But get some tungsten guide rods and use the same PARA10, 10% off.
Absolutely. That's a fantastic sales pitch. Check them out. They're great. They're great people.
I'd like to buy two now.
Yeah. You're going to get two.
Wait, no discount for you. No discount for you.
Figures.
And
Tommy,
he's not going to use the
needs
same
to
front.
pay extra.
Yeah. Well, there you go. W74 Beretta guide rod for when I get my Zermat in. Then I'll just use that. I every once in a while see a dark side Canic, and I'm just like, you know what? I shot it for 2 weeks, and then I sent it away when it was brand new, and I was like, no, I could do that. It wouldn't be
You could do
too
it again.
bad. I'd do it again.
Not that
I'd shoot it.
expensive.
I'd shoot it. Like it is just enough and not enough for me to be like, that's fantastic. But the big selling point for me is adjustable iron sights with a fiber optic. There's nothing on that pistol where I sit there and I go, that was not thought of. Like some of the execution on it, where it looks like it's just like a pot metal poured into a cast. Like some of the execution, the frame literally looks like they got a kit off of Amazon. It was like, make your own cast, and they're like, this sounds great, and then they
got
use
some
that.
clay sand from Home Depot.
But gosh dang it, that ain't a good trigger. And like some of the springs, like could you build beefier springs? You could, but like as far as the other execution on the pistol, like I don't generally when I have I don't always have an extended magazine release, but when I do, it doesn't have a screw in it. So
Just remember, I had a Canic before either one of you guys.
you
And
did.
it was the worst Canic that ever, because it had that little decocker button on the top of the slide. Why they ever did that, I'll never know. But they sure enough did.
It's
Trying to be
because
different.
it's
They
a
were
Walther
selling their butts.
P99 clone. The Walther
Yeah.
P99 was a true double action, single action striker fired pistol. That and the Taurus 24/7 actually had decockers on them because people back then thought in the day, like, if this doesn't go off, I need to be able to strike it again or have the safety of a double action trigger. But now we've made a pistol that's a pre-cock striker that has a 1911 trigger that has 2 millimeters of travel that we're going to appendix carry. And that's
I
because
thought you were going to go a different route with that. I mean, I thought, we went from
That we're-
super safe to just like,
Dude, now it
shoot
goes
on
off in the
own.
holster.
yeah, now it goes off in the holster, and now we're just like things that our ancestors learned a long time ago. Now we're just like, you know what? We're smarter. We're kinder. We can go through this. We do not have the same problems as we used to do. And like that's why it would have that, because the people over at, the fine company at Walther and like HK and like Beretta, the people who've been doing this for a long time with like military arms, they're like, you know what? That's a pretty short trigger pull. Let's put a decocker on that bad boy, and we'll still let it fire from a double action trigger. And then when the people over in Turkey bought it, they're like, you know what? Well, we can't really change the schematics that much because that's expensive. What shall we do? We'll have it decock into an unfireable position till you rack the round out of. And this is basically, I figured out if the round was possessed, if you chamber the round, and Kevin was like, he chambers the round for the next shot, he goes, this is a hinky, spooky round. Do I want to eject it? No, I'm too cheap.
Keep it locked.
Do I want to fire it? Under no circumstances will I ever fire this round. And it's not leaving the chamber. Decock. And then that way you can ensure that it never left the chamber and never fired.
It seems perfectly reasonable, and somebody seriously thought that through.
Yep.
So you know that it's got to be high quality.
Yep.
Nobody would
they
just do that
probably
dumbly.
need to have all firearms engineers and designers. They just need to go spend probably 2 weeks at a public range just watching.
Police Academy. Like
let's see what kind of firearm changes we get if this happens.
I was thinking about this when I was like working on my daughter's car, that everybody is as safe as they absolutely need to be, and they'll never do this or never run into the problem with X pistol not having a safety or X pistol not having a heavy enough trigger. Go give 30 new police officers those guns and then go stand in the middle of them. and then you will have a new thing of being like, you know what? Double action decockers, my thing.
10-pound trigger pull?
10-pound trigger pull, my thing. Press checking like this on the back of the Berettas like this with the safety down. That's my thing too. That's all that we do now.
Seems safe.
It's very safe. It's just safety uber alles. Telegram, messaging app. You go there, you search your PARAcast chat, you ask us questions. We answer them to the best of our abilities or what legally we can divulge under these circumstances.
From Lance, what is something you'd like to see happen or created in 2026 in our competition shooting space?
Another division to split limited optics.
I'd like to see limited optics go away.
I don't want to see limited optics go away because I don't want these guns in carry optics.
No. I just want to see it go away.
We just sell it to PCSL. We sell them in their memberships.
Get rid of the 2011s. Here, let's see how many people get mad at me for that one. You can't take away our division that we already tried to take away from you.
Just merge them. Just merge them.
That's
what I would like.
There you go.
I don't want to see them merged because
I'm joking. I really don't want. I really don't want to see LO go away. I'm just.
Oh, I dislike it.
I don't dislike it. I don't like it or dislike it. I think that it doesn't. I don't think that LO serves any real purpose that carry optics doesn't already serve. And I mean,
carry optics guns are harder to shoot.
You have the 2011s. Okay, so what? The guns. By the time the first shot goes off, the guns are virtually identical. People are winning and competing at high levels with a striker gun versus a 2011 gun. The magwell doesn't mean anything because honestly, we have one reload in the entire thing. The guns, the two divisions are virtually identical. And at this point, there is just no reason under the sun to not have them be one division.
the
And
ca-
you'll have people be like, well, what about
2
the
nationals
production
a year,
rules and
baby.
things like that? Oh yeah,
Shooting the
because
same gun.
the carry optics guns are harder to shoot. Like the one thing is like
I don't think so. I
don't
just
think so
I
either.
can't get there with you on that, man.
Attuned Shadow 2. It's not.
it has a double action pole. A double action pole is harder to shoot than just a single action gun with the safety. After the first shot doesn't matter.
Tommy, it
Not really.
It functionally doesn't. It just doesn't, man. I mean, if
It's maybe
you and I
different,
are
but it's
standing
not
on a
statistically
line,
different.
if you and I are standing on a line together and we shoot them like, bang, bang, bang. Okay, yeah, there's a difference. But when the timer goes off, you pull the gun out and you start ripping your .2 or in Kevin's case .11 splits. There's no difference between the two.
The difference
There's a slight
is the
slowness as
slightest.
you roll through that,
Yeah,
but it doesn't functionally matter.
it's the slightest difference on the actions of one being more difficult than others. But that's the same thing with every division.
Sure.
That's the only thing we can do in this sport is besides like having one division is we can break them up by very minute little character changes in them, and like that's fine. I like that.
That's actually, that to me is the problem. Is if there is the reason I don't like the creation of LO is because it wasn't anything substantive. If I shoot stack, that's a very distinct division. Revo, very distinct division. Production, very distinct in what it is. Carry optic and limited optic, they are two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, well,
right. There's no functional difference between them. Oh well, one's got a magwell and one is a cocked and locked. Whoop-de frickin' do.
Yeah,
there's no difference.
And this wasn't from. This wasn't
I realize
from the
that I
introduction.
used to have an opinion on that.
This wasn't from the introduction of LO. This was from the watering down of production and carry optics.
Yes. Yeah, Troy taking and no, it wasn't just Troy. It was a lot of people involved. But when they production, as soon as optics became a thing, production was dead. The writing was on the wall because people want the ability to shoot a lot of bullets, and they want to have an easier aiming system. And carry optics gave both of those that's why you saw it take off and it took over everything.
Yeah.
But then you had all the 2011 boys who were upset because they're now $3,000 40 Smith and Wesson guns. They're like, well, we want to play too, but you won't let us, so give us our own division. And then the board's like, okay, bet. So now they have their little 9mm 2011s, and they're like, yeah, we're the king of the world. Okay, go look at nationals. Okay, you have the striker guns and the fantastically expensive 20, and they're all going head to head.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not making a substantive difference. And at this point, the biggest argument for carry optics functionally is, well, we have a production list that we're going off of. Okay, well, the production thing is dumb because this whole concept of, you just go to the store and you just buy a gun and then you can show up and you compete with it. Everybody who's shown up at these matches, that world doesn't exist anymore. People who are going to play this game, they already got money. By and large, they've already got money, and they've seen enough YouTube videos to know that, hey, maybe I want to buy this Shadow 2, which I'm already going to be spending $2,000 to get into it anyway. And I'm not trying to bag on it left or whatever, but that's just the observable reality of what we've become as a sport.
Yeah. Well, what would I like to see for 2026? What's the production rules at 2,000 in a year or 20,000 lifetime? Is it still, are those numbers
something like
25,000, something like that?
All right. Well, let's double that. So we're gonna limit the list down there. Let's make it 15 rounds, and let's turn it back to factory parts.
I want 10 rounds back.
10
Production should be 10 rounds.
10 round carry optics would be me winning the lotto
no,
and getting hit by a city bus.
You misheard me. You said carry optics. No, I said production. Carry optics is what it is.
I would love 10 round production. I would love a weight limit, 10 to 15 rounds in carry optics, and production parts on the gun. I think
carry optics is limited in weight right now. You can only have 59.5
Yeah, you can only have 59 ounces.
Only 59.5 ounces.
And a coupon code to W74 Guide Rods will almost get you there. Like when Kevin
How much
can't
does your Shadow 2 weigh, Robert? with
What's
the
that?
batteries. How much did your Shadow 2 weigh? We figured with batteries.
Oh,
You
when I
weigh
put
one?
all the crap in it, yeah, it was like 64 ounces or
And
something like
So
that.
that's starting with
definitely
the
can get you
heaviest.
over the top.
Kevin can't get a Glock that heavy for you. He can't
No,
get a
not even
Glock. He
close.
can't get a Glock that heavy for you for $300. And oh, I'll go to the Glock store. I'll put tungsten batteries in it. We'll put a Streamlight TLR1 HL. I'll even make it out of forged steel. You can't. It's
Can't get there.
ridiculous. Like a 35-ounce carry optics limit on the dang gun. With that's with the light. Like you're not going to be
But that
carrying the lot in a 40 and then minimize the magazine capacity, and you would have very distinct differences. And then you could sit there and go
I don't think so.
is it a harder division? Yes, it would be a harder division than LO.
And nobody will compete in it.
Well, then good.
Do you know how I know that nobody will compete in carry optics if you limit the round count? LO or limited 10. Limited 10 is a textbook example of nobody wants that. You're trying to create something that nobody wants. Nobody wants less rounds. Take production back to what it was, because that's what it was. It's very distinct inside of that world, and it can exist inside of that world.
Carry optics
it's not stacked.
existed in that world too at the beginning.
Carry optics temporarily did. And then people quickly realized that no, this isn't what we want it to be. And as soon as they opened it up to letting you use 140 millimeter magazines, and the optics became reliable, let's be honest, that was a big aspect of it. You saw carry optics quickly take over everything under the sun. And that's the way it is. The whole idea of taking carry optics and dumping it down to 10 rounds, they've tried that and it doesn't work. It's called limited 10. We don't have to even experiment. We know that it doesn't work.
Yeah, well,
and so merge the two divisions, call it limited optics, and move on, because that's functionally where we're at.
I think the limited 10 situation is there because nobody was in that division when they made the changes.
What do you mean?
Well, like if you made the changes to carry optics, you would be compelling more people to either play in that division or play in LO. But it's kind of like production right now is like no one's going to go into that division because it's unpopulated. Like if you take a populated division and then make slight changes, you'll keep some. You'll most likely lose competitors in it, but you'll have more participation in it than if you change another division to try to be more alluring to it.
Production was popular because it gave you two in a way monopolies. It gave you functionally factory guns, and it gave you 9mm. Those were the two things. So they're very inexpensive entry points, but they've lost that in the sense that you now have an inexpensive gun with an optical sighting system and cheap ammo. And if you have that, the barrier to entry, what that pushes you into automatically is carry optics. Production exists for the people who they grew up in production, they love production, they love the thinking aspect and how much fun that is.
It's a better game.
It's a much better game from that perspective. They ruined it by taking it to 15 rounds. There was a lot more thought that went into breaking down a stage at 10 rounds than it ever did with 15. And I get this whole idea of like, well, that's what IPSC does. Well, that's fine. Let IPSC do whatever IPSC does. But it was a better game when it was 10 rounds, and we should never have made that change. And if I ever advocated for it, now looking back on it, I absolutely regret ever advocating for 15 rounds because it was the wrong decision. And there were people that were screaming from the rooftops saying, this is the wrong decision, you shouldn't do this. And they were right. And that's just the way it is. Production should have been 10, should still be 10 rounds.
I don't think the 10 rounds killed.
It didn't kill it, but it didn't kill it. But what it did is it made it less palatable for the people who actually were shooting the division. It'd be the same as us coming in and saying, "Well, hey, let's just go and change single stack because we don't like it." Well, we don't really shoot it.
The non-factory parts, the 60-ounce weight limit, and then the 15 rounds. That's really what killed production. And
no, production didn't have the weight limit issue. It had its weight limits. The carry optics was the weight limit issue.
But the all of a sudden you could put any parts in a gun and take a production gun and then shift it away. The one thing, honestly, that kind of sat there and killed production, and what we're seeing now kind of killed the idea of like what a carry optics the idea of what a carry optics was supposed to be and what a limited optics is more and more gun manufacturers making purpose-built USPSA guns. Because
Yeah, that's that Zermat Arms place or
yes,
whatever.
the exact thing that killed production was the Shadow 2, which was here in the Tanfo Stock 2 was like, here are production guns in that are specifically spec'd out in weight and in action for these divisions. And then that became
Gamers are going to game any way they
Yep.
can, right?
Yeah,
So-
yeah. I mean, you can say the exact same thing about the Glock 34. The Glock 34
Yep.
was there long before because originally it was the Shadow, and that's right in that tactical, practical world. But the Glock 34, which was completely built, designed from the ground up to shoot in that division.
Yep. And now that's the one thing that actually merges the CO and LO conversation is like these purpose-built 40-ounce plus carry optics guns that there's like, oh, they're the same as shooting in an LO. And it's just like, well, yeah, those are. But a polymer frame PDP versus a staccato 4.5 HT, those are two different types of guns as far as a skill set and a timing that you would have to deal with.
I think by and large, the weight limit is what the weight limit and the ends. The ends are always going to be what people talk about, but I think by and large, what you've seen people come back to is everybody went to the extreme end. Oh, now we got the 59-ounce gun, but you're seeing people actually come back more towards right around that 40, 45, somewhere in that area of the gun needs to have some weight to it. But more importantly than anything, the gun needs really good balance. And if you achieve balance at 43 ounces or 45 ounces, that's going to be more valuable than this 59-ounce behemoth of a gun. The balance to me is still the most critical aspect. The Shadow 2, if you put a little bit weight on the back of it, it tends to solve the nose heaviness of it. But that still keeps that gun in a lighter category. It's not heavy compared to, like, I've taken my other one and gone all the way to the 9s. I have the reason that we have the 59 with that AO1LD. That gun's too heavy.
Yeah.
It's very when you shoot it, it's got this weird, it's just this slow chug-a-lug kind of sensation in shooting. I like shooting it because it's a CZ and I just like CZs, but it's not an ideal gun.
Yeah.
There's better guns out there.
I guess the change I would like to see in a 2026 USPSA organization with the ability to be saying just because somebody makes it doesn't mean that we have to accept it. That seems to be
Flux Defense.
yeah, that's like like just because like great. You make a product. We do not have to accept it in our game, but now like we have to accept everything, no matter what it is.
I would like to see in 2026 two things. I'd like to see all rules and all clarifications must come from the board, not from DNROI. And I would like to see an online learning module for all RO for the RO course.
Yep.
I am right about this, and eventually it will get there. It probably won't be in 2026, and it probably won't be until 2030. But eventually, we will get to a point where we have to recognize that the world exists where online learning is a viable platform for education.
You think PCSL could beat them to it?
Yeah,
I
I think anybody could beat him to it.
They could. I think he could spin up a great online learning module for a certified RO program for them. They would.
Max has the unique benefit that he gets to stand on the shoulders of giants.
Yeah.
USPSA is the best training. As far as range safety officers, bar none. Nobody. USPSA IPSC, right? It is the best. Period.
Yep. But IDPA has been
So
certifying and testing their safety officers online since like 1999 or something like that. Like it's.
Have they?
Yeah, this is.
I mean, like I went and took it from Steve, right? So
yeah, and when I renewed and everything from like 2009 and on, it was like the online module. Here's the new rulebook. Here's your 57 questions. Here's your hour to do it.
And USPSA has that, but I'm saying from the get go, you should be able to absolutely do an online portion because they have it for still challenge modules. They've already shown that it works,
Yeah.
but
Here's
they need to get to the point where it actually is for the RO course.
here's your here's your 6 videos. Watch these. Here's a
Yeah.
circumstance. Answer correctly how this should be scored or what the proper situation is to do. And then you just
And then for the next 3 months, 3 matches, whatever it takes, you're going to be paired with the chief range officer or range master, and they're going to watch you. They're going to give you instructions and pointers and ideas. And after that time period, we will then grant you, if everything goes swimmingly, you will then become a certified range officer
Yeah.
who can work at level 2 matches.
if
go
I can
and do
learn,
great things.
if I can be certified to learn under somebody driving double 45s on public roads, you can be certified to go out there and try to get a proper hit factor score on somebody.
Yeah.
Through an online module.
I totally agree.
It's a matter of time. It's going to happen. It's like everything. The old people are going to have to die, quit, or retire, but eventually you're going to see it happen.
Maybe a little of all three.
Yeah.
In a 24-hour period. Dun, dun,
Dun, dun, dun. I don't know. COVID was supposed to be the great boomer remover, but that didn't happen. So, from JB, awareness from the talk about your awareness of the proposed USPSA bylaw rule changes and category changes. The rule changes. I mean, they made a handful of corrections, things that probably just made sense. But the big thing was the category changes, where USPSA is functionally saying that they're addressing the transgender issue, and they're saying that if you want to compete in the female category, you have to show up with your birth certificate or a copy of your birth certificate to be recognized in the female category. And
Seems fine by me.
I think. Well, see, that's the funny thing is I actually think if they're going to do it for females, they should actually force it for everybody.
Everyone's
Like,
got to bring their documents.
Everybody's got to bring like old people. If you want to be distinguished senior, show up with your birth certificate. If you want to be senior, show up with your birth certificate.
Yeah, I mean,
I like that better than the obvious. Hey, we're just trying to keep men out of women's sports, which I actually agree with. I do agree with, but
yeah.
I say birth certificates for everybody. Coppers, they can have their little copper thing.
This is what I propose, and McManus will love this because I'm going to give him more power. I think we pick a person that
Are you going to make McManus take him into the porta potty with the Tanfo Timmy stickers?
What we're going to do is we're going to certify a person on their ability to judge if they're passing or not passing. We certify these people on an online module, and then every club has one, and then they sit there. And like if they miss every once in a while on like some ugly chick, hey, that's just the harm of doing business. Like, so we could have like maybe. And if they're really passing, like, God bless them. Like, if they're really passing, they get to shoot in the ladies category. Like, I'm not asking for perfection. I'm just saying that we need to put this under, like, a scrupulous eye. And, like, I'm willing to start a module on this. We could do it, Like, if they show up and they look hot, but they got a 5 o'clock shadow, they can't shoot in the ladies division. That's all I'm saying.
I had somebody who came to one of my new shooter matches. She was wearing a prosthetics, and one of them kind of bounced out.
Wait, is that a DQ?
I don't know. And you're just like, be cool, Rob. Be cool. Don't get this place shut down.
I want to step.
Are you supposed to pick it up? Were you ROing? Aren't you supposed to pick it up? Is it a weapon?
I ain't picking that up.
I want to step on it and slip on it. Now that's a lawsuit. This American's willing to
cover this. Is this?
Yeah.
You did what?
It's a lawsuit this podcaster is willing to handle. That's what I need a jury of my peers for this one. So.
No, it. Honestly, I think the way I look at it's hard because what started out with it's a good and noble idea of like everybody should have a place. This should be the Second Amendment belongs to everybody, and I believe that. I believe that firmly. The challenge is that anytime you put competition you put a competition or a timer behind anything, people are naturally going to show up and start trying to game it, and they're going to try and take advantage of it. And you've seen it with the Leah Thomas stuff. You've seen all for the past, 5, 6 years. You've seen men competing in a women's category who categorically do not belong there. And
Yeah.
now we're starting the world is starting to track back to sanity of saying, like women are women, men are men, compete in your own categories, and let's go have a fun time together. But this is not to say we don't want people to come out, because I do. I want it. I've always believed the Second Amendment belongs to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the same time, my Mercedes shouldn't have to be competing against a dude.
And by come out, you
So if I
mean
look
come
at it-
out to shoot.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify.
Last question from JT. What are your thoughts on the slimline pistols such as the Glock 48, the P365 Fuse, the Hellcat Pro versus a standard double stack pistols like the Glock 19 MP 2.0, or in your case, Tommy, the G26? Because you love that bad boy.
Here's my thoughts on these. We had this conversation for a long time of like 1911 with thin grips, and then we have like double stack like Glock 17s or something like that. And then like people would put their hands on them and be like, "Oh wow, this is marvelously thinner. This should conceal better." And so then they put them on and they're like, "This does not really conceal better or feel like it's different." And what makes the difference is like the shorter grip. The shorter grip
Mhm.
is something that makes a difference. But a lot of these pistols, like the 365 is kind of interesting, and like the 43 is interesting. These pistols do not receive newer designs and updates on their original size. They receive designs and updates on a larger version of themselves. So the ones that actually feel good and are comfortable and actually conceal well are the most basic versions of those pistols, and they don't go anywhere past that. And now we have a Glock 17 size P365 with a comp on it, and then like it's a slimline pistol. It's the original
It's
Shield,
insane.
great to carry. The Shield Plus, reasonably sized, great to carry. But there's no question like the 10-round flush fit magazine conceals infinitely better than something than like the 14 round or whatever. And like this Glock 26, like it's got a +2 on it, but it doesn't really extend past the grip, so this carries perfectly fine. It'd carry better without the optic on it. But like that's about a reasonable size to sit there and hide for concealed carry, because when you put on something like a 48, it's just like carrying a 1911 version of a double stack Glock 19. Like it's still basically the same size. And for
Yeah.
I mean, here's a take, right? Like, I love my P365. The trigger's garbage, but it shoots fine. It's super comfortable to carry. But thinking about it from the perspective of, I train a lot shooting a pistol. I am very competent with a pistol. When I shoot that pistol, it's not extremely manageable, right? Like, it is not fun to shoot. It recoils way heavy, and your grip has to be totally squared away and ready for that to be proficient with it. The vast majority of people are not training to the level or even have the understanding of how to manage the recoil of a pistol that size.
Mm-hmm.
So they're exceptionally popular. It would be really interesting to me to get some demographic or like some data, get all those guys who own those and carry those every day to go shoot them and see what they can like qualify with, because I bet they can't.
yeah,
I th-
the
I-
smaller version of your carry gun is probably a better idea.
Yeah.
And
I think for a lot of these
Or
these
you-
small
smaller
guns, like
version of your competition gun?
competition gun, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
I think for a lot of these small guns, the 365s and things like that, kind of piggybacking on what you're saying, Kevin, for the majority of the people, is essentially like, handing your wife a Lady Smith because that's what the little lady needs, and we
The
should get her to
small
get her.
size, and it's
It's a
pink.
small. It'll be so much better, and it's like observably, and I can't remember. I think it was Travis Haley or something like that, where he made that comment one day where he's like, if I put you in a room and I tell you in the next minute somebody's coming through the door, and it's either going to be you or them, and I've got all these guns laid on the table, you're not going to pick up this little teeny tiny 365 or snub nose revolver. You're picking up that Glock 17 because it's going to run better.
Yep.
That's just
I
the
mean,
observation.
there's a big part of this whole discussion that you have to have with yourself, right? What can you carry? It's not what can you carry, is what will you carry, right?
That is true.
And having a gun is better than not having a gun, unless it's a SIG,
Yeah.
allegedly.
Yeah. Not allegedly. No, but I mean that's a good point, right? I mean, like when I can't carry a gun, when I carry a gun in places I can't carry a gun, it's a crappy gun. It's not ideal by any metric. I know that. But it's something.
Yep.
It's something. And that's about all I can really say for that 22. I mean,
Well, and whatever gun you buy, train with it. Go shoot it.
Yep.
And be familiar enough with it to shoot it.
No, that's the appeal of the gun that's pretty much gone away, which is the subcompacts double stack, like the P10. I think they have it like M, the Glock 26 size gun, the instead of the micro almost single feed or single stack kind of gun, were like these smaller double stack guns because they were small, they were slightly fatter, but like it has the same grip. Like I get the same grip on this that I do on a 17. The trigger's the same.
But that's actually the nice thing is, I mean, people are going for that thinner grip, but I mean, barring one that you just can't get your hands around, I mean, obviously not that, but the larger grip actually shoots substantially better because you've just got more meat on it, and it just works a whole lot better. And so yeah, I mean, like small guns are a compromise, and your fundamentals just have to be that much more on point.
Yep. And the other part
carry
too
the
is
largest gun you will carry.
That's a good way of saying it. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing about those size guns is that the optics that you would want to use, the more robust optics, will almost every single pistol optics will fit on those guns, and the tiny guns only get like the tiny footprints for those smaller windows or whatever.
Right.
But like this is a great gun. Like it holds 12 shots. If I want to put more in it, I can make it hold 10, or I can put a 17 round in it, or I can put a 33 rounder in it. Like,
right.
I can do a bunch of different things with it, and it's the perfect size. And if I want to get something smaller, there's like these little, the single stack guns. It's a 32 caliber Kel-Tac. And like
I think I'd rather carry a 22 than a 32.
I would say
I got some volume.
You do have some volume, but the one thing is with a 32, it's a centerfire cartridge, and the quality control that happens with rim fires and what gun finicky is rim fire, like a straight blowback.
Quality control.
The straight blowback 32 will always poke somebody's eye out. Like it'll go off, it'll be fine. So
yeah, I have to be really particular about the ammo I use. It has to be CCIs because they'll just work.
Yeah, and then the failure rate's still 1% or something like that.
Yeah. It's you know, get good at your tap rack skills. But in that kind of a situation, the whole point is for me to get my family away from the situation. I mean, if somebody else wants to play shooty games with the bad guy, I say good luck and go with God. But fundamentally, to me, I'll sacrifice every last one of you to get my family out of there, and that's how I see the gun.
Yep, and so having a gun that extends your accuracy and is pretty much the same as your other gun that you can shoot well, it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. That's a winner right there, 100%.
It's pretty nice. Anyway, thanks for downloading, listening, and subscribing. Feel free to email Troy McManus our plan for an eye on judgment about shooters who can compete in what divisions. Categories. Robert?
I just want to say Andy Erickson, Area 3, Jim Boone, Area 1. Both good friends, and by the time most people actually listen to this thing, they'll be entering what is their last couple days of their term, and then they're done. And so, Jim's been really good he's been really good for USPSA, and Andy stepped in as the Area 3 director when Area 3 was in a really rough spot, and I think he's done an actually. I think both of them have done really good, and I just want to say thanks for everything you guys did because it was pretty awesome.
Andy, they've done great work. So
yep.
Thank you.
And they both
you guys, screw you. No,
they both fulfilled their terms, which is very unheard of nowadays. So congratulations. Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for doing all that stuff we do. Remember the procedure: download, delete, download, delete, download, delete, download, listen. Not mine. Not my dog. For
That
Robert,
dog better not be downloading in the basement.
for Robert White, Kevin Isaac, I'm Tom Nelson, meaning peace, love, and soul as we depart into the open waters of the sea of life on a low tugboat called the PARAcast.
Good night, everybody.
Toodles. All right. Question for the non-show: should I get